Hey, welcome everyone to this video, which is all about breeding sentinels and how I do it behind the scenes. I suspect there are many of you who've been watching my videos taking note of the quality sentinels that I run. Recently I ran Legion on Legion, so I was all about sentinels with Legion. Take a look at this one. This is a perfect example of a stellar sentinel. It is a Tier 3 Legion reward, Tier 2 Sentinel reward with a Tier 2 quantity reward. How in the world am I getting my hands on Sentinels like this? Well, I don't want to completely cheat you. I will admit that in some cases I purchased them. I do actually have a couple of live searches set up to see some of those Sentinels. In fact, you know, I think I will share that. I was a little bit on the fence about sharing that here. Not because I don't want to give away the farm, but a little bit of tedium there. So this is a live search I've set up for Tier 2 Legion Sentinels for when I do Legion farming and I want to sort of double dip on the Legion rewards. With the Sentinel I have here set up, it's searching for at least Tier 2 Legion reward, and then it's also searching for another high value reward, or in some cases maybe Tier 1 Legion reward. Works out really nicely. I can see a lot of Sentinels. I'm not willing to pay any more than 100 chaos for one of these. This one kind of dead, but there's actually not really any up here that I'm interested in buying. And to be completely honest with you, Legion has always been kind of a dry market, and the reason's because nobody prioritizes it. It's actually a very low value one. It's so low value that nobody even really keeps them and looks for this value. So consequently, occasionally I can buy one of these Sentinels for dirt cheap, like 10 to 20 chaos in some cases. But like, it doesn't even show up on the loot filter, the Legion reward one, if people are searching for it in that way. The more important one, I think, is I have over time adjusted a live search for just a generic high quality Sentinel. And I haven't done this in a really long time, but I actually am using the weighted sum approach. And I went through and I went and looked at all the different mods that I thought and weighted them as to the extent that I thought they were worth something. I'm willing to pay up to 200k, basically one exalt for one of these. You can see what it kind of looks like. It weights the special bases here. That's worth something extra. It weights, you know, deployable and additional time. Actually, on second thought, I don't really care about that much. But it, you know, it's got the usual here: expedition rewards, sentinel rewards, currency rewards, legion rewards, scarab, divination, harbinger, and metamorph and fossil to a lesser extent. I lowered the value of those a little bit. Their number of charges, it only looks at it if it's at least 7. Increased number of enemies empowered is actually pretty good. Increased number of enemies, or empowered number of enemies there. Quantity is on there, rarity to a lesser extent. Increased empowerment's actually pretty valuable. A lot of mods, they're pretty valuable. I want to make sure it has at least 100 enemies empowered, and a durability of at least 8, which probably means it's not been used. I will go ahead and link this one here so you guys can have this live search. You can adjust the numbers a little bit if you want. But for example, if I lowered this down to, I don't know, 140, I'm going to start seeing a lot more stuff show up here. And I can search this for either, like, the price here. So take a look at this one. This one's only 20 chaos. For a Tier 1 fossil reward and Tier 1 currency reward. Now, it's on a lesser base, but it rolled really good prefixes that actually makes it way more valuable than just a standard obsidian base, which means this Sentinel right here is very much worth at least 20 chaos. And it was posted 26 minutes ago, and you know, this guy might accept my tell, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get people to, you know, come out of their map or whatever. But I mean, okay, there we go. So it looks like I am. That's nice. You know, in this video, I can actually show you my strategy on how I might purchase a Sentinel, and you know, a valuable Sentinel, or at least get it at a price that is basically a steal. I mean, this is basically a steal. This Sentinel for 20 chaos, that's really good. Now the base is not very good, but it does have some incredible rolls on it. So, and people many people won't even consider the prefix rolls on this. So this base, by standard, I think only empowers like 80 enemies or something, but this one has 131 enemies empower because of how well the prefixes rolled on it. So a lot of people like kind of discount that or don't even think about that sort of thing. But at any rate, you know, I'll just put that away here, and you know, it's nice. I'm swimming in Sentinels. I have tons of Sentinels here that I may never use. But you know, if something is just for like dirt cheap compared to its value, sure, why not go ahead and take it? And if nothing else, I mean, at the end of the day, if you run into a situation where you're just absolutely swimming in great Sentinels and you really see yourself not ever using them all, you can just start recombinating those into something even better. And yeah, you'll destroy many of them in the process, but I mean, what else are you going to do? Or you can obviously sell them instead if you want. So yeah, I will give you that link for your adjusting pleasure, I guess, if you want to do that. Right here in the dump tabs, this is the result, excuse me, the result in dump tab A and B of having just ran 100 maps on Dunes, doing a Legion on Legion. Now, one of my biggest secrets I think I should share is that one of the big reasons why I'm able to get so many Sentinels is because I tend to run highly juiced content. So tons and tons of Sentinels drop. This is going to be a totally different story for somebody who's just doing like Sentinel and Go on Glacier, who is like burning through Sentinels way faster than they're finding them. You're going to have to kind of adjust that a little bit. But for me, I like to run, you know, if I'm doing magic finding, divination card farming on Cemetery, I'm juicing the maps up really hard. I'm seeing tons of Sentinels. And you can set up your loot filter in however way you want. Me, right now, currently, I have mine set up so that I only see the highest tier standard base, which is the Obsidian bases, Stalker or Pandemonium, rare quality and above. So if that's not good enough for you, I would suggest dropping it down to the Emberstone bases. That's the second best base, and or also seeing magic quality as well. I'm not a big fan of picking up the magic Sentinels because I know a lot of people like that, but to me it's super time consuming. There's a very low chance that you're going to get a mod on there that's really good, and even if you do, it's probably not worth running first. You're probably going to have to recombinate it first, and then you're just not going to have enough room in your inventory to pick up all those things. I don't really like picking up the magic ones. Now, there's a major caveat to that, and in that, if you're running this Cloak of Tom's Isley, I mean, this changes the whole game, and you can then search for magic ones. In fact, I may flip this whole equation on its head when I put this cloak on, which I'm actually about to do for the rest of the league. I will probably stop picking up rare bases, and I'll only pick up the magic ones. Because then I won't even need to bother identifying any rare bases. I will only just see the magic bases that are extremely high value, like tier 1, tier 2 expedition rewards. I'm going to see those, like periodically, for example. I'm going to be able to see like tier 1, tier 2 currency with divination rewards, just slam them together. Some of them will come out good, some of them not. But that's a totally different strategy, and that's the one I will be employing from here on forward. But what I'm showing you now is basically what I've done, everything I've done up to this point. And it's worked out extremely well for me. Between occasionally purchasing a Sentinel on trade like you just saw me do, and I mean honestly, like occasionally doing that, not very often. Between doing that occasionally and just recombinating the ones that I use back together again, as well as just finding occasionally premium Sentinels and using them, I'm ahead. I come out ahead. It seems like the Sentinel market's a little bit tricky to do. It's kind of hard to sell, kind of hard to buy. I don't really recommend trying to work that market in a major way. I recommend trying to self-sustain your own. That definitely seems to be a better strategy overall. So let me show you kind of what that looks like. You'll see here I have literally an entire quad tab full of unidentified rare bases. Interesting thing I didn't realize until recently is that it would seem that the Stalker Sentinels are much more common drops than the Pandemonium Sentinels. Well, that kind of sucks actually, because I use Pandemonium Sentinels twice in a map and Stalker Sentinels once. But that does mean that I can be a little bit more restrictive on the Stalker Sentinels that I run. I may recombinate them more times and try to hit something even better on those. And I may be a little bit less strict on the Pandemonium Sentinels for that reason. Over here, and I have one extra because I had one more than that. So this is 144 Sentinels right here, and this is the next one. So in 100 maps, I found 145 rare, premium base, unidentified Sentinels. Which means I found on average about 1.5 Sentinels per map. Basically what that is. Okay, and then of course I have, what do I have here? 10 Sentinels that I used in the course of 100 maps. Only 10 Sentinels, and this is the results from them. So what I usually do first is I go through and I check, I try to combine the premium bases with non-premium bases. That's kind of like the first thing I'm looking to do. And then the rest I just kind of mix and match. I like to mix and match it and not like try and combine two mods that are together. I know that's a little bit maybe unconventional to do it that way, but you know, it gives you a much higher chance of getting like an extraordinarily good Sentinel. Now let's take a look here. I already have these lined up the way I want to do them. So I have an Obsidian Stalker here, and I got a Cryptic Stalker here, and this is a Legion reward. And this is also another Legion reward and quantity reward. And my goal here is basically to get Legion reward tier 1 to show up on the Cryptic Stalker Sentinel, and maybe even pull quantity reward over with it. That would be great if that happens. I'm not really shooting for the moon here. Now, this is a premium recombination, so I tend to use the higher value basis for this. For these here. And so I'm basically recombinating 2 that I already used, 2 that were good enough to run on their own. That's definitely going to be a premium recombinate, and for those I do use the higher bases. It so happens that this is the exact number of materials that I found, power cores that I found in the 100 maps, and I will probably have to dip into my my reserves a little bit for this. But if you search the price of I'm definitely going to use a lot of regular power cores. If you search the price on those, it's like 400 for 1x or something. Definitely want to use that, but more on that later. We're going to start with the more premium ones here first. So I never use augmenting power core. I just never used it, basically. I don't really know why people use it. It's not really valued very high. Anyway, I use transforming and amplifying, depending on the base. Now, I'm not 100% sure how transforming power core works when you're already combining a base. I don't know if it like dramatically increases the chance of choosing, but I don't really think it does. But basically, I look to see if there's anything on here that has a good chance of moving up a tier, and for this one there is. They have the quantity roll, and then yeah, but honestly, the real value of this recombination is keeping the special base. That's the real value. So we're going to go with this here, and I did hit that. I don't even check it, waste time to do that. And you can see this came out exactly the way I wanted it to, actually. This really like stellar result. It's kind of unfortunate that I used it on, this was kind of the least exciting recombination one, I think, of all of them that we're about to do. But this pulled the quantity roll. It kept the tier 1 roll, and it kept the higher tier base. And by the way, it also has a very good prefix. Tier 2 increased number of empowered enemies percentage is actually really good. So this is a great Sentinel for Legion and Go. Actually, extremely good. So that is a keeper, and I will absolutely use that. Again, we have here another one. So we see here this is a little bit more exciting. Got a special base. We're hoping to get currency and Legion together. Currency is tier 2. We got a couple tier 2. I'm definitely going to use amplifying power core to try to pull that currency up to tier 1. And I unfortunately got the wrong base. But you can see here I kept tier 1 Legion. I got tier 2 currency. And that is, and I got pretty good prefixes here. I got a high tier, tier 1 empowers plus enemies. So that came out with a nice 111 enemies empowered. This is a very good Sentinel. Perfectly fine to run. Especially good for Legion and Go again. The general theme here is going to be Legion and Go because I was already running that, so these Sentinels all have Legion rewards on them. That's going to be a common theme here. Here we have an example of a Sentinel that... This Sentinel I normally don't even run. But it has Legion rewards, and it has one of the very best prefixes in the game, actually, for Sentinels. And if this happens to just keep the good base and pull that prefix over, I mean, this will be really good. The other side has tier 2, so this is double tier 2, so I think the smart thing again is to try and up the tier on this and really hope that it doesn't come out with the Emberstone Stalker Sentinel. Unfortunately, it did. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And what do you know? It actually... So this Sentinel right here would have been freaking terrific if it had kept the good base. So it kept the bad base, but it combined successfully on the suffixes, came out really good. And once again, this is a very good Sentinel worthy of running, even with the base being very lackluster. Next, we got the Pandemonium Sentinels. So here's why I kind of talk about mix and matching here. So we got a tier 1 quantity roll, we got a tier 1 currency roll, and then we got a tier 1 Legion roll and stuff. So this is, and on a cryptic basis, definitely a case where I'm going to run the more likely to keep or use a special base. Cryptic Pandemonium is literally my favorite one. It has a huge number of enemies combined. I really hope it keeps the cryptic base. It did not here. But once again, the theme is... Ironically, it had the highest chance of keeping Legion rewards because it doubled on those, but it actually stripped the Legion reward. I got the top tier 1 currency reward and then a high tier quantity reward, and this is just a great Sentinel. I mean, once again, actually very lucky so far. I haven't had a single bad result. This is a terrific Sentinel, in my mind worth at least 1x, and you know, the prefixes are good enough, and once again, you know, this is good enough to run. So we're already off to a good foot with the Sentinels here, keeping them. This is probably the most exciting one I'm doing here. I basically have a cryptic Pandemonium Sentinel with not that great of mods, except actually the prefix is really good. It's got the tier 1 empowered enemies. And then I have essentially my highest value Sentinel that I ran in the entire 100 maps with 3 top tier, or actually tier 2, but 3 very good suffixes. You can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm basically trying to pull the suffixes over onto the good base. Because these are all tier 2, I am going to try and up the tier. And we'll see how this runs. Not a bad result. Actually pretty good. Again, really sad that didn't come on the special. That would have been amazing if that had hit the cryptic base. But at least I kept the expedition and I kept the currency. And I kept the tier 1 prefix too. That's extremely good here. And once again, this is an excellent Sentinel. Expedition rewards by itself is worth like 1x, so this is probably a 2x Sentinel of all things. If you were to try and price it, it would be hard to price this, but I don't need to price it because I'm going to run it. And that's all there is to it. Okay, so one of my absolute favorite rewards is Sentinel rewards, and you can see that one's on here. Tier 3, I don't usually run Tier 3, but I will run Tier 3 rewards if it has other good suffixes, which you can see the other suffixes here are really, really good. The prefix is also really, really good. And then we have currency and Legion. A whole lot of great suffixes involved here with low rolls. So you can see the obvious answer here is to try and up the rolls. Hoping it keeps the Obsidian base. I'm getting extremely lucky with the bases. It keeps selecting like the worst base and then selecting the decent rewards overall. Plus 8 charge is actually really good. Prefix, I got three very suitable suffixes, perfectly worthy of running it again. Another good for Legion and Go. Honestly, this is a good Sentinel in any scenario. Good. Even with getting like the worst bases I could be getting here, it's still getting good. I can't get screwed over with the base on this one. Here we're going for Legion again. It's just like tier 1 Legion. Yeah, 3 currency. Again, I'm going to try to raise that currency up to tier 2 on here, see what I get. That did not happen. It unfortunately went down. It chose the lesser rank for Legion. Still a decent Sentinel. Good enough. This is still good enough to run. Now, if it was much worse than this, I probably would try to recombinate it back into something else. Decent prefixes. It's still good. Still decent Sentinel. Still worthy of running. For me, in my threshold. Okay, and let's see, this time we got one of my favorites. Legion rewards and Sentinel rewards combined. Legion rewards and currency rewards combined. This has a high potential of being a great sentinel. A lot of tier 3 stuff going on here. I think I will, once again, try and raise the tier. Actually, you know what? No, I think I'll try... I'm not working with a special base. I'll try to hit a special base. It did not hit. Let's see. I got... oh, this is great. It looks like I actually went up a tier on the Sentinel reward. I hit super high tier Sentinel reward with a tier 3 currency reward. Decent prefixes. Actually, no, actually those are really good prefixes. Suffix increased empowerment's also pretty good. Once again, literally 8 for 8 on decent Sentinel results. Now I have a couple more that I can't do anything with right now because I need to identify some others. So that is kind of the process, and you're going to have very high success rate when you recombinate 2 used Sentinels that you already had. I personally like trying to take a Sentinel that I already used and plug it into a special base if I can, if that's possible. And you saw me, you know, kind of do that a little bit. Only came out with one that successfully, this one right here. So the rest of this is going to be a little bit less exciting. But we're basically just identifying them right here. Now, straight out the gate, I identified one that's a tier 2 currency reward. So this is a Sentinel right here that's not worth running. It only has 85 enemies empowered. I do not run this Sentinel by itself. It's not quite good enough. So it's good for recombinating in my book. Because to me, at this point, with my threshold of play, a Sentinel needs to have at least 2 premium rewards on it. Or 2 very, premium, like 1 premium reward on a special base, or 2 premium rewards or better in my, and all like tier 2 or above, basically, for me to be happy in general. But let's first get this part out of the way. This is kind of the grindy part. This is the more time-consuming part. So I gotta identify all these, obviously. Okay. You can see I'm not a botter. I could do that. I could probably make a program do this for me, huh? Not how I roll. Oh! Whoops. What's that doing here? That's awkward. It's supposed to be over here. Yeah, I could recombinate these, but this is only trying to recombinate Legion into Legion. Nothing special about that, so actually I wouldn't do that. Again, because I'm going for 2 rewards or better, so I'm not going to try and recombinate just 1 reward into another. Okay, so I'm IDing all 145 Sentinels I had left to play with. So this is the part that you're all probably waiting for. You know, what do I do with all these? So I'm gonna kind of separate these into 3 separate categories. Category 1 is Sentinels that are just garbage. I'm not going to destroy them. I'm going to recombinate them, actually. So Sentinels that are just garbage is in Category 1. Category 2 is Sentinels like the one you see right here. So this is a midway Sentinel. It's not good enough to run, but it's worthy of consideration for careful recombination towards the end. And then Category 3 is Sentinels that I ID that just happen to be great automatically, and I'll just straight up run it as it is. So let's see what we got. First, I'm going to try to pull Sentinels that are in Category 1. So I'm looking for things that have nothing special about them. Nothing special. Now this Sentinel is good because it's Tier 1 prefix roll with Tier 2 quantity roll, and this is actually a Category 2 Sentinel in my mind. Yeah. I do not have a regex or whatever Boolean string to check these, so I kind of do it manually. Now this Sentinel right here is actually a Category 3 Sentinel. It is a top tier currency reward by itself. It also has it barely clears the bar for tier 3. It does have a few extra empowered enemies. Currency reward is one of the best, and it happened to roll 0.2% away from top tier. This barely clears the bar for me for being a Sentinel that I would just run outright. I'm not super excited to run this Sentinel, but it's good enough. It's good enough. It also has extra charges, which is nice. Hello. Hello, hello, viewers. Okay, that is no good. Nothing there, nothing there. Blight rewards, totally useless. Next quantity. And there, okay. Now, what do I do with these? Real quick. Oh, now it's tier 2. Okay. Oh, category 2. I am just glancing at these to make sure they didn't just pop in expedition rewards or something crazy. Here's what I'm kind of waiting to have happen. The most likely outcome is that it's going to transform into a special base. Now, sometimes it transforms into a unique Apex Sentinel that's automatically worth 30 to 40 chaos. And of course, I'm just going to take that. And that's one reason you should do what you're doing right here. I mean, that reason by itself is good enough to do. You actually make currency by simply just recombinating these bases together because the power cores are so cheap, and the unique Apex Sentinels result is common enough that you actually earn currency by doing that. Obviously, you wouldn't earn a lot of currency per hour by doing it, but of course, the alternative result is that you end up just slamming into expedition rewards randomly, or what's more likely to happen is you hit a special base like this. So with this would be a good, maybe I recombinate these two together. I don't know. But now this is a sort of category 2 because it has no special roles on it, but it is a special base. And so it's worthy of consideration in my mind. For now, let's continue. There are a few special Sentinel mods which you have to kind of watch out for, like can deploy a second time, or 20% chance to duplicate rewards is actually really good. So you kind of want to look out for that mod as well. Occasionally. Okay, so you can see that's that there is done with that. Let's continue on. Well, okay. So here we go. This is a great example of a Sentinel that just boom, it's good enough to run. Literally top tier currency reward and tier 2 top tier 2 Sentinel reward. Unfortunately, the prefixes are really awful, but it's still worth running because of those two suffixes together. I mean, those are really good suffixes together. And this is a picture perfect Sentinel that you might just happen to unidentify. You know, out of identifying 145 Sentinels, you are going to find Sentinels like this, and boom, you know, you got it right there. Keep in mind, remember, I only ran 10 Sentinels in total. Or sorry, not 10. How many was it? 10, 12, 14, 18. It was about 20 actually. That sucks. I kind of forgot. I only ran about I think, yeah, it's about, God, what was it? It was about 14, something like 14 Sentinels total. I already have 10 replaced. And we're just getting started on this. Unique rewards. Not a big fan. I don't know. It's tier 1 unique rewards. I will consider that, I guess. Okay, then we got tier 3 currency. We got nothing here. Really garbage stuff there. Tier 1 quantity. Nothing. Fragments, don't care about. Okay. The second round. All right, here we go. Oh, here we go. 17% chance for rewards to be doubled. Now, that is actually a really good mod. And it now, I mean, that mod by itself, honestly, bumps it up to the next category, I feel. A lot of people specifically like to recombinate just magic ones because they don't like having the pool of modifiers diluted too much. I've tried it both ways. Honestly, I prefer to just Hail Mary it and take two Sentinels that have 6 mods and run them in. Okay, here we go. Transformed into a special base. Now it is moved up a category. Let's continue on with these. Okay, nothing. Keep going. Tier 2 currency. All right. Tier 1 quantity. Tier 3 currency. Tier 1 quantity. Heist reward. Some people like it. Tier 1 Harbinger reward is actually pretty good. And there we go. Honestly, oh, wow, look, it bumped up to a higher quantity roll. It's honestly a bit surprising that I haven't transformed into a unique Sentinel yet. Unfortunately, the unique Stalker, unique Pandemonium Sentinels are all garbage. So it's completely just destroyed at that point. But if it's a unique Apex Sentinel, it's good. Okay, unique Stalker Sentinel, not worth anything. Literally garbage. That's fine. That's gonna happen. Oh, special base. Special base. All right, that's category 2. Wow. Okay, tier 3 quantity and tier 2 currency, but very, very high prefix. You know, the prefixes carry this Sentinel, so that it's honestly it is actually good enough to run because a Stalker Sentinel with 135 empowered enemies is. That's really good on the prefix side. This is a Sentinel that kind of barely clears the bar for me. This is barely good enough for me to run it. If it weren't for those prefixes being as good as they are, I would have dropped that down a category. Now, this Sentinel is easily worth keeping and running because this is tier 1 quantity with the higher tier currency and good prefixes as well. Very good Sentinel, straight up good Sentinel. Not the greatest thing in the world, but absolutely clears the bar right there. I have that. Honestly, I think I've gotten actually pretty fortunate with just automatically well-rolled Sentinels, a little bit better than average. What I'm seeing right now here, we finally got a Sentinel reward, but it's tier 3 currency reward. Oh, I'm dumb. I forgot what I was doing there. Okay. Here we go. Where's my unique Apex Sentinel at? So the interesting thing is, if you go on trade and you like, I challenge you to go on trade and just look up what the price point is for the special bases. Like the cryptic bases and the ancient bases. Just look them up. You'll see that they're all worth like at least 40 or 50 chaos. So I mean, you could try and you could just recombinate these over and over and over again until you have special bases, and then try to sell them. Oh my! Looky here, we got a tier 2 expedition roll with tier 2 rarity. I don't really care much about that. Fortunately, did get a decent prefix, and I mean tier 2 expedition. I mean, I'll run that all day. I mean that's actually the best. So that's a great Sentinel there. Tier 2 Legion, okay, by itself, not quite good enough. There's that Sentinel. Harbinger. Tier 2, okay, middle of the road. Alright. There's that. Whoa! Special base right off the bat, okay. Oh, special base again. Oh, tier 1 unique rewards. Okay, I guess tier 1 unique rewards is good enough. 1 heist rewards. Tier 1 heist rewards. Okay, we'll Mess with that, I guess. Tier 2 fossil rewards. Still good enough. Okay. Nothing. Oh, this one's good enough to run straight up. Actually, map reward is worth something. Tier 3 currency, tier 2 quantity. Actually, this is barely doesn't clear the bar because I really don't like a sentinel that only has 85 empowers 85 enemies. Not quite good enough for me. Really close, but not quite. Okay, nice. Tier 2 sentinel. Tier 3 quantity and currency together. Quantity again. Kind of bad. Ooh, special base. Look how many of these sort of next category bases I have already. I mean, pretty obvious that I'm gonna. Should be pretty obvious to you now that I'm gonna come out way ahead on these good ones. Oh, this hit tier 3 sentinel reward on a special base, so that's actually pretty close to being done, potentially. Man. A lot of good stuff there. Okay, hitting the last of the sentinel rewards here. Okay. Okay, so this is kind of a dirty sentinel here. Basically, just looking at the middle categories here. Okay. Now, one thing I'm obviously not going to do. This is actually the most challenging part, to figure out what to do next with these middle-of-the-road categories. Generally speaking, I'm going to, whenever I'm recombinating, I'm going to combine a special base into a non-special base. And that makes the most sense. Trying to recombinate two special bases into one another is a really dumb idea. I'm also going to try and mix and match them completely, because I'm not going to try and double up anything special. So we'll look at the special bases, get them out of the way first. We got a really good one here. We got a special base with tier 3 sentinel reward. So I'm going to now pick an obsidian base that does not have sentinel rewards. This definitely deserves to be one of the better ones on here. Let's take this one here, for example. So this has the decent prefixes with a sentinel reward. Also has tier 2 currency. A great opportunity again to try and up the level. Got the special base. Amazing. Amazing sentinel. I got very fortunate with that. I pulled the prefix. Got a lot of extra enemies empowered. I got to keep the sentinel and currency reward. I did not actually increase the level of anything, so that was unfortunate, but I pulled everything together that I wanted to. It's now a great sentinel. It's a special base with 2 premium rolls. One of them is a lower tier, but that is a great sentinel right there. Great sentinel. Super happy about that one. Let's take a look at the next special base. Let's find one that pairs up with this. So this is actually in the event that the special base doesn't have anything else going for it, I'm going to hold off on it right now. I'll kind of hold off on these for now. First, we're going to try. What I like to do here is I like to try and combine like quantity and a regular roll here. So this is chance for rewards to be doubled with rarity. And let's see, we need another. I think I'll try to get that Harbinger tier 1 reward actually here. I think that would be kind of a smart one to do here. So I have a Harbinger tier 1 reward. I'm trying to get percent chance rewards to be doubled. Maybe. No point in trying to like, this is not going for an end result here really. This is sort of a middle of the road. And wow, I got lucky. Got lucky there. So now this has Harbingers and then of copying And now this is a good one to try to recombinate into one of the special bases. I think I'll try to pick one that has some clean suffixes here. Some chance to add rewards. I'm already working with 2 suffixes. Okay, that's good enough. This is tier 2 Sentinel. I think I will try to keep the base, or work with the special base. Maybe. Okay, we got the special base, and honestly, I've been getting really lucky. Keep pulling in, getting exactly the results I'm hoping for, honestly. So this is the special Sentinel only modifier of copying. Chance for rewards to be doubled. A very good modifier. As well as tier 2 Harbinger on a special base, and that is totally worthy of running. Absolutely. Move these off to the side here. Okay, let's see what's next. I got unique rewards. Care a whole lot about that. We'll just try to pull uniques over to quantity, and wow, slammed it. Okay. Uniques and quantity, that's still not even that good though for me. I will try to pull currency over. I'm not taking this part too seriously. There's a decent chance of failing these portions right here. Let's just see what happens on this. Okay, so that's random. It just completely stripped off the unique and currency and gave me tier 1 quantity, which is kind of random. But okay, let's see here. We got too many quantities, huh? I got Sentinel reward and quantity. Yeah. Actually, this is probably good enough chance to maybe mess with this. Try to up the quantity. And did, okay. High tier quantity, low tier Sentinel. This is a good opportunity to try to pull this over to a special base, and then it will actually be good enough. I will try to up the level of the Sentinel reward, see if I can get lucky. And okay, so that's more like typical results. Complete opposite of what I wanted. Just completely removed everything, gave me the wrong base and everything, and now it's actual garbage. And now I have 2 garbage Sentinels. I can go ahead and set that up off to the side there. Okay, let's see. We have a lot of tier 1 currency reward. Let's take a tier 3 currency with some quantity reward. Okay, this is not too serious of a recombination. Don't really care that much about what happens here. We kind of get some of these the quantity rolls. I don't care a whole lot about. I mean, it's nice if it works. If it does, great. Okay, so here we go. You know, it got tier 2 quantity, and it got tier 3 currency. I will attempt again to up the level and transfer it to a special base. Failed, but kept the mods intact. One of the issues with this is the prefixes are absolutely atrocious, so maybe I'll try to do that again. Actually, you know what? I think instead I'll find one of these bases that have good prefixes and work that in this way, maybe. Once again, no good prefixes. Come on. Okay, actually did up the level of currency finally. Currency reward. So that's kind of cool, I guess. I will actually try and pull the high tier quant roll, I think, at this point. Put it on a special base, maybe. Nope. But okay, success. All right, here we got another decent one. I don't like the prefixes on this. Well, this one's iffy. A highest roll tier 2 currency with a high quantity roll does make this a decent divination card farming Sentinel. I think I'll keep it. I might mess with this later, but for the sake of this video and showcasing, you know, what constitutes a high value sentinel, I think this does clear the bar. It does have 2 premium rolls on it, so anyway, let's see this tier 1 Legion, and let's try to get the Legion and Quant together. Success. Okay. Pull it over to a special base. I think I'll just do the base. Woo! Rip the quantity. Okay, try again. Oh, right. That's some interesting one there. Second attempt. Kept the Legion again. This is fine. I'm actually kind of happy about this. This is a good way to kind of burn through the quantity Sentinels I have. Oh, that was random. Random now. I lost the Legion. Up the quantity to tier 1. And now a special base. Okay. Totally random, but alright. Let's see here. We got tier 3 rolls, currency, and Sentinel. Lost Sentinel. Alright. No, that's actually not a good idea. I should put the tier 1 heist and tier 1 unique together, actually. This looks smart. Harbinger, lost currency. Okay. I want my currency back. Lost it all. Now it's trash. What? Currency randomly back on at tier 2. Okay. Alright. Try to do a special base on tier 1 unique, tier 1 heist. Dropped down to tier 2 unique. Eh. Not really very good then, is it? Turned into garbage. Okay. Garbage Sentinel over here. Fossil and quantity. Yeah, that's right. I was going to do this. Again, this is kind of shot in the dark there a little bit there. Quantity. Okay, got a few quantity Sentinels left over. Got a few special bases here. Probably could have strategized just a little bit smarter, but anyway, this would be a great one to try and slam together. We got, you know, I'll try to raise the level maybe. Oh, okay, good enough. Good enough. Tier 2 currency on a special base with plus 10 charges. Jesus Christ, 22 charges. Good enough. Now, at some point, this might not be good enough, and it might actually try to recombinate it into something better, but for now, it's good enough. Probably worthy. Try to transfer quantity. So I'm basically just trying to transfer quantity over to these special bases. A little bit questionable to do that, but oh wow, what? Currency. Okay, in that case, why don't we do this? Gone. Quantity and maps. Woohoo. Map rewards. Okay. I don't really care about that. Okay. And now we have just hit the... scraped the bottom of the bowl. It's done. Oh, that's weird. I missed this one over here. Awkward. Really? Yeah, a lot of currency is a popular role. Damn. Really popular role, isn't it? So this is kind of a category 2, and this is a category 1. I'm not going to recombinate these together because, okay, I'm just going to trash this to make it easy on my mind. So I basically have 1 sentinel left over. This is not good enough to run, but eventually I will try to recombinate that back in. So it's all done. Oh, now the next step is Pandemonium Sentinels. So, you know, if you're bored and you want to close the video, you don't want to see Pandemonium Sentinels, basically do the same thing over again. I don't blame you if you want to close it out, but that's basically how I do the Sentinels. I got all the Stalker Sentinels done there. Oh, look at this here. We got Tier 2 Scarab, Tier 2 Currency. Okay. I'll keep that for another day. But I'm going through and trying to find all of the actual garbage Sentinels. This is a Tier 1 Metamorph. Tier 2 Fossil? Oh, Tier 3 Fossil. Yeah, Tier 3 Fossil's not really good enough to mess with. But that's okay. Tier 3 Divination, Tier 2 Quantity. Now, I care more about the Pandemonium Sentinels, generally speaking. I got Tier 2 Quantity right here, so, or Tier 2 Sentinel, rather. You know, it probably would be intelligent to run Tier 2 Sentinel. And it rolled increased number of enemies empowered. That is iffy. That is iffy right there. Well, anyway, let's get this show on the road. Actually, I'm very unlucky with the uniques, not seeing a single Apex unique Sentinel yet. Unique Sentinels are actually pretty common result if you do enough of these, like I'm doing here. And I'm definitely doing enough of these. Oh wow, I missed that. There was a Harbinger reward in there. Whoops! Tier 2 Harbinger, that's a keeper for now. Okay, well. Anyway. Oh, Tier 1 currency. By itself, not quite good enough. For me, close. Oops. It's a Tier 3 currency. Tier 2 Divination. Tier 2 Divination. Tier 2 currency. Tier 2 quantity. You can see I'm going to have almost enough power cores. In fact, I may actually have enough power cores. Oops, it's Tier 2 quantity now. I'm really hoping to hit special bases on this. There we go. That's the base I want to see. Cryptic Pandemonium Sentinel. My favorite Sentinel. Baseline 200 monsters. Infused. Okay, so that goes here. Okay, that's a special base. And Tier 2 currency. Light. Yuck, 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 yuck. Okay. There we go. The Narcissist. People buy these all the time for 40-ish. Chaos. They just made a bunch of currency back automatically just by hitting that. Okay, and now that is, you're trying to at the baseline bottom here. This is Tier 2 Legion and that. Okay. Gonna try and put the really good ones Like almost good enough. These are like really good ones. They're very close to being done. I will try and combine Sentinel. Actually, no, Sentinel rewards like really good. Quantity and what? Tier 2 Harbinger. Okay. Tier 1 quantity, Tier 2 Harbinger. Let's do that here. Special base coming up. Oh. What? Right on the line. Right on the line. Tier 2 Harbinger, Tier 2 quantity. A few weeks ago, this would be good enough for me. Now, it's not quite. I'm going to try and recombinate that into something a little bit better. Kind of getting the lobies out of the way here. Oh, nice. It actually cranked up the currency tier. Tier 1 Metamorph. Actually not bad. I think that's worthy of being up there. Let's see. Okay, we still got a quantity reward. Good prefixes, though. Okay. Didn't end up with many quantity. I don't care that much about quantity rewards. It's just kind of an extra thing. That's kind of where that's the starting point. I try to get quantity with something like Tier 3 Divination or whatever. What I like to see is like Tier 2 Divination or whatever reward or higher. That's what makes me happy. Quantity and Divination rewards together is quite good. Maybe I can hit that, and I did. But it dropped the currency tier. So I think this will actually be a good opportunity to combine this Sentinel into the cryptic base. Let's actually go ahead and do that. I'm going to try to raise the tier of these up and maybe get lucky or not. Okay. That happens. Absolute garbage results. Almost lost everything in that maneuver. Almost everything gone. Left with nothing but the Tier 3 currency reward. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Guess, Tier 3 Divination, or Tier 2 Divination, Tier... Currency on a special base? No? Okay. Okay. Here we hit Tier 2 Currency, Tier 2 Divination. Prefixes meh, but good enough. Those are two very good mods. Currency and Divination cards, very good mods. Getting them both at Tier 2 on the same Sentinel is good. Worthy of keeping. Question, how long did it take you to realize that PoE was greater than Diablo back when you first tried PoE? I mean, that's a loaded question, man. Objectively, yes. I think I realized it like the first couple weeks of playing. Just how much in-depth there was. It had a terribly high barrier of entry, though. Even someone like me, a total veteran Diablo player, somebody who even streamed playing Diablo, I was turned off so much by that passive skill tree when I first looked at it that I installed the game and I started looking at the passive skill tree while the game was installing, and then I didn't even play it. For like, I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to go back to my other game. For like 6 months, and then once I got overwhelmingly tired of playing my other games and had nothing else to fall back on, I had to reach a place where I had like zero anticipation for a different game to play, and was just so overwhelmingly tired of my current games to play. I had to reach a really low place to finally get to a point where I would give PoE a try and say, all right, I'm going to buckle down and I'm actually going to do it. Yeah, I did something like that. I think I was playing Age of Empires 2 HD at the time, actually, and I was getting tired of it. But I still had, I still had a little bit of fuel in the tank for it, a little bit, and I did run back to it briefly. But eventually I stopped. And I've been playing PoE ever since, so I knew that if and when I finally got into this game, I would be in this game for a very long time. Because I knew how much I enjoyed the ARPG genre. It's arguably been my favorite genre of games the whole time. I played World of Warcraft, I played StarCraft, the RTS and the MMORPG. I do appreciate those games, but I always preferred ARPG the most, I feel. Anyway, back to focusing, gotta get this done. Tier 3 currency reward. I don't know, just kind of see if it randomly ups the tier. Nope, gone. Okay. Garbage. Here we have kind of our last bit of stock here, and I'm going to try to get something decent. I'm definitely going to walk away with something here. Let me see what the best option I have here is. I got the one that I ended with, so that's there. And then tier 1 currency. No, actually that's not smart because I can... it's a little bit risky. That's random. Tier 1 Harbinger. Okay, give me that tier 1 currency. Where are you at? Right here. Okay, tier 1 currency, tier 1 Harbinger on a special base. Man, I got so unlucky with those special bases. Ah! Alright, this is actually good. This is good. So I ripped the Harbinger, but it gave me a 20% chance the reward to be doubled, which is probably even worth more than tier 1 Harbinger, honestly. And then it's kept tier 1 currency. Standard, straight up, decent Sentinel worthy of running. Let's see, we got tier 3 divination, tier 1 metamorph with, let's see, on a special base. Sure, why not? Tier 1 metamorph intact still. Got him. The currency came out of nowhere. I don't even think that was on any base. So this did give me the special base finally. Not the best one. It kept it's actually got decent prefix and tier 3 currency, but tier 2 Harbinger, and that is a good enough Sentinel for sure. And somehow I did not even have to tap into my reserves. I barely was able to manage all of this with only the power cores that I found in that 100 map run. I have one garbage Sentinel of each, which I'll just keep as sort of a beginning stock point. You saw, unfortunately I can't remember how many Sentinels I started with, but it was something like 12 to 14 Sentinels that I used in the last 100 maps. Well, what do I have now? I got 21, I guess. 21? Yeah, it looks like it. 21. 21 Sentinels left. More Stalker than Pandemonium, unfortunately, but, we'll figure it out. So what I will likely do next is I'll actually go through and maybe do a couple of final recombinations on Stalker Sentinels because I can be a little extra strict on those. I'm not going to do that on stream, though. I'm going to give that a little deeper thought on that, and maybe do 1 or 2 more recombination on these Pandemonium Sentinels. If there's a couple of them that are just very much on the fence, barely worth doing, I might go ahead and try to, because again, look guys, I got all these great Sentinels I don't know what to do with. I can't really run them, and once again I came out ahead based on my own criteria for what passes as a worthy Sentinel to run in this premium juice maps. It looks like I need to think about getting even more strict. What do you think? Do you think these Sentinels are good enough to run? Are they good enough to run for you? Are they better than what you're typically running? Do you have any other particular strategies you run? I know some of you are quite interested to see how I did it, but that's the long form. That was the totally uncut version of me taking the aftermath of 100 maps ran, just taking it all in at once and getting it all through and beginning the process of preparing for the next session. So that's it. I'll answer any questions you guys have in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and there will definitely be some more farming videos coming your way. Got that 1,000 Crimson Temple runs coming at some point in the relatively near future. Stay tuned. Look forward to that. I'll catch you guys in the next video.